Everyone, and welcome to your notes on the Chinese Civil War. So, as a review from our last lesson in homework 2, the Qing dynasty, which had ruled for just over 200 years, had fallen. The bourgeoisie group, the educated middle class group of people, many of whom had fled Cix's rule, were returning. There was a revolution in 1911, and they were trying to set up a republic. These people, the bourgeoisie who left China and returned and had this revolution, are called the nationalists. The nationalists are, once they toppled the Qing dynasty in 1911, they try to set up a republic. So they're trying to bring in those reforms that they have been pushing for. They want to create a constitution, a republic where people have some sort of democratic say, different parts of their government, much like Western governments, but as a way to preserve the China that they love. So that nationalist group is going to be called the Kuomintang Party, and it's going to be led by Dr. Sun Yat-sen. He becomes the first president of the Republic of China, also considered the father of the Republic of China. But this is very short-lived, and they don't actually get a constitution up and running before things fall apart. So there are 3 principles to his philosophy of rule: nationalism, democracy, and economic security. So he's going to die in 1925. But before he dies, he still has this like 2-year-old, maybe a little bit older now, 2-3-year-old Qing dynasty emperor, little boy. And some people recognize that Qing dynasty emperor as the real ruler. You also have like this military dictator, Yuan Shikai, who is controlling parts of China. So the nationalists, the Kuomintang Party, and people like Sun Yat-sen, they want a unified China. So Sun Yat-sen steps down in order to allow Yuan Shikai to take over in hopes of preserving the republic. But what this actually does is it takes this general and it makes him a military dictator. That's how he rules. And so things kind of become more chaotic, but he dies 4 years later. So he rules from 1912 to 1916. And then in 1916, China enters what's known as the warlord era. And the warlord era is when there is no unified China. Everything breaks down regionally. Think like different states. Depending on what state you're in, someone else is in power. Local rulers. Okay, so while that warlord era is happening, World War I is happening. And one of the things that happens in World War I is that in the Treaty of Versailles, Japan is given the German land. Because as you know, Germany loses World War I. So Japan is actually given that territory in World War I, which is really upsetting. So it's kind of like another blow to China. So again, we have another pushback for reform in what's called the May 4th movement, which was a student-led and women-led protest where they were pushing for modern reforms, and the women were specifically pushing for cultural changes that were more equal, so such as like the end of foot binding, which is where they would have to wrap their foot to make their foot smaller. Okay, so 1924, they're entering the Civil War era, the first phase of it. And you have that nationalist group, that's the powerful group, even though we're in the regional powers. Like there's all these different local rulers, no one unified China. So you have the nationalists, and then you have this other growing group called the communists. And there's a lot of founders of the Communist Party in China, but the key one we're going to pay attention to is Mao Zedong, because he's become very important and very powerful. So at first, they're all working together. They're kind of talking out like what communist ideas might happen, what nationalist ideas might happen, but they're a united front against the warlords because they're trying to create a unified China. So they're trying to end the warlord era, work together and do this. And they're pretty much done. And when they're about done with that, Jiang Jieshi, who is now the leader of the nationalists, because remember that Dr. Sun Yat-sen dies in 1925. Jiang Jieshi plans this attack against the communists, which is really like a slaughter because they're all working together. The communists were not anticipating this, and this is known as the Shanghai Massacre. And this is a brutal situation where women, children, no one is left behind. They are all slaughtered. And if they're not dead, they make sure that they're finding them in the mass grave pile and killing them. And so there was many who died in this. And there are many nationalists who were part of the nationalists, the Kuomintang movement, who were behind Dr. Sun Yat-sen, even including Dr. Sun Yat-sen's wife, who, realizing the Shanghai Massacre and what was going on, spoke out against it. If the wife of Sun Yat-sen spoke out against it, and other people just it turned them away from the nationalists. So it actually helped the momentum of the Communist Party. So the Nationalist Party is going to be more powerful at this time. It's going to have a stronger army, but this Communist Party is really winning the hearts of the people. And that's one of the key reasons why is because Mao focuses on bringing the revolution to the peasants. When he takes over an area of land, he gives that land to the peasants and he takes it away from the landlords. So now if you're a peasant, you're invested in the communists winning, because if the nationalists win, you're going to lose that land again. The landlords are going to return to power and you're going to lose power. They would also have these things called struggle meetings when the communists took over an area. And this is when basically they would put the landlords on trial informally. And the peasants would air their complaints of all the things that the landlord had done wrong. And then the land would be given up, divided to the peasants, and the landlords would be killed or punished in some way. So that's just one reason why they were hated here. The Shanghai Massacre is another one. They were also terrible at running the government. They had a lot of corrupt things going on. They would take money for taxes, but then the government official in the Kuomintang Party would, let's say, take the rice, and instead of giving the rice to the government to spend for the government spending, they would sell it themselves. So the government was kind of struggling, and at the same time, there was a lot of corruption. It turned peasants away from the nationalists again. But the nationalists did have a strong army because they often forced people into the army. They would beat them, they would kidnap people to recruit them, and they would even tie them up together so that they couldn't run away. So this is awful treatment where people didn't want to fight for the nationalists. What is the cause? So the cause that started the Kuomintang Party, the Nationalist Party, kind of fades away, and they become more corrupt and more focused on the wealthy, which is not what the Chinese people want. And remember, the majority of Chinese people are peasants. The far millions of people in China are peasants. Okay, so this is going to really appeal to them, that the communists are giving them land and giving them power and actually treating them well. So because the nationalists are stronger militarily, they are going to be winning battles. And so as they're winning, one of the things that happens that's important is the Long March. And Mao and the communists are going to use this kind of as propaganda because they are fleeing in the Long March, the communists. 100,000 people are fleeing in this long 6,000-mile journey. Only 8,000 people survived. So over 90,000 people died on this journey. And as they marched, Mao made sure that they did not hurt the peasants as they went. If they wanted food, they needed to pay for the food. If they wanted shelter, they needed to be respectful about it. A key reason why the communists end up winning is because they're really treating the peasants well, and they're doing their best to actually deliver what the peasants want, which is some sort of power. It's just another map of it. Okay, so the Soviet Union, so at this time Russia is communist, so they're going to support the communists. They're going to supply them weapons, and Mao was going to look to Lenin as like this model example of what he wants to happen in China. Okay, so from 1937 to 1945, we're going to have the Second Sino-Japanese War. Japan is going to invade China. And this is also the beginning of, this is what starts World War II. So in this invasion, they try to make an example of Nanjing. And so this is a massacre. Women, children, people are all brutally killed. It's mass graves. It makes the headlines everywhere in the world. And again, the Japanese were really government was really showing that we are the superior race, China's inferior. They kind of used all the corruption and bad things that the nationalists were doing in China as propaganda of why China are these horrible people and we need to take over China. And they were hoping to take over all of China. They did take over large portions of China. And this pauses, so when Japan invades China, it pauses the civil war against with the nationalists and communists. But after World War II, Japan's going to lose, right? After World War II, the Civil War starts again, and it's totally different. Now, so many people have turned to communism. Communism has become so much stronger in China that the communists are going to come in, and it's just the next 5 years, because the Civil War ends in 1949. So the next 4 years of the Civil War, the last 4, are the communists really going after and winning against the nationalists as they get weaker and weaker. So here are some takeaways. I'm not going to go over these. You can pause the screen and look at these, and these slides are available to you. I will see you in class.